Hello everyone, it is time for another Doc Talk, and today we'll be discussing a study conducted involving email responses for college applications based on specific races or ethnicities. The study included 52,000 emails with identical profiles other than their names. The results are interesting. Let's dive on in, shall we?
Chinese American families received the fewest responses from school principals. Hands down. How is that? Like, have you been taught growing up that, like, hey man, Asians are very likely to be discriminated against as much or more than anybody else in the U.S.? Was that something you were taught?
Not really. I don't know. To preface, I don't know how other Asian people were growing up, but at least for me, I was kind of taught to be a little more independent. So I think I kind of understand why Chinese American families receive the fewest responses from school principals, because I want to think that it's not common that those families reach out in the first place, because they usually have their own interconnected communities that they reach out to first before they go to that and stuff like that.
This is amazing. You're coming up with some reason why. Here, are you following this? Once again, he's coming up with some reason why this is not discrimination. So Chinese American families got considerably fewer responses from the principals, and you're coming up with you're in your mind coming up with some reason that makes sense that that's not really discrimination. It's just because da 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 da.
I don't want to go to that, right?
Leave it to the Asian guy to have such a baller mindset. This guy gives no fucks. Discrimination, not a problem. Hold my beer.
Dude, exactly. You don't want to go to discrimination.
Yeah, I obviously want to look for other reasons why maybe the principals were just out of date or something like that.
Which might be true, but when it's 52,000 people, you can't
argue with statistics.
There are only so many knee surgeries that are happening among the principals. Hey, Summer, what do you think about the fact that it's China? Was that even in your mind, that the possibility that, it might be Chinese American families?
Wasn't at first, but now I'm thinking about, that could make sense. I think if you think about it, if you look at white and black, if you're looking at language-wise, a lot of we'll talk the same. We have, even Hispanic is pretty close to English and that sort of stuff. Yeah. But whereas Asian language and stuff is a lot different.
Okay, but hang on. You're doing the same thing. Be careful. The letter is written, it's the exact same letter. It's written in English with no grammatical errors or anything.
Well,
so the person writing it speaks fluent English. They just happen to be, they're like Justin here. Do you speak Korean at all?
Hello.
Okay, but it's just like Justin here, who speaks English as well as you and I do.
Well, where I was going with that is a lot of also I feel Asian people and Asian culture can be romanticized in a way. My sister is from China, and she didn't grow up there at all, but people, when she was little, would always ask if she spoke Chinese, because I feel they saw her as something exotic or whatnot. I think that feeds into what is the discrimination, or even if it's not a conscious thing, being these people aren't my people.
An other. They're an other.
They're
somehow.
Watching these kids rack their brains on why this would be happening is hysterical. Think about it. If schools weren't discriminating against Asian students, there wouldn't be enough room for your average kids of other ethnicities. I almost wish they wouldn't have specifically targeted Chinese students in the study so we could see how much harder Asian kids are having to work to get into the schools they want. I'm not sure why they incorporated the vast majority from the other ethnicities, but then specified Chinese for what should have been an Asian category, but I digress. The point is, Asian parents tend to have incredible expectations for their children, even from an early age, and drive them to outperform most everybody else. And we're seeing the results of that with schools making it harder for them to get in. Even if you look at SAT scores based on ethnicity, you'll see that Asian students almost always have to score higher than all of the other ethnicities to get accepted by the schools they want.
So of the three groups, Chinese, white, Hispanic, black, Chinese are the most othered.
If you look at it, if you look at it from that way, yeah.
All right, I got you. Okay, but othered Okay, is that cool? Does that make sense? That's a really cool point. But the problem is, othered, because Justin here, who speaks fluent English and writes fluent English, if he writes a letter and someone others him, that's discrimination. Because he's no different than you or me, or you or the four of you. But they look at him or they see him and they see his name and they don't respond, that would be discrimination.
My sister, she has a very American name, but her middle name relates back to what her name used to be in China, and she doesn't like to put it down or anything because people are like, "Oh my God, what's this? Like, what does it mean?"
People make a big deal of it.
Yeah,
I got you. Okay. Well, either way, that's discrimination. Okay, Jasmine, what do you think about the fact that it's Chinese? It's not Hispanics. It's not black.
Yeah, I was honestly, like, initially, I was wanting to change, like, after I said my order, I was kind of thinking a little bit, it could have been a little bit different. And now that I'm thinking about it, that kind of does make sense a little more, especially after what Summer said. And I honestly feel like if I had to reorder my thing, I would say it would be whites, Hispanics, blacks, and Asians, now that I think about it. Only because I feel like there are a lot of, like, bringing it to race, there are a lot of white Hispanics out there too, and I feel like if you're going to be discriminatory, you're going to like think them and then everyone else. So that's just the only thing that I was thinking.
That was the only thing that she was thinking. How can I view this in a way that makes white people appear as though they only want to be with other whites? Yeah, that makes sense, because there are some Hispanic people with lighter skin. Maybe that's why they aren't at the bottom. The lens that some of these college kids view the world nowadays is batshit crazy. Why are we pretending that the United States doesn't take in more immigrants from all over the world, of all different skin tones? You literally have to bury your head in the sand to not see that. We take in more immigrants, and it isn't close at all.
Okay. All right. Janelle, I have a question for you.
Yes.
As the black representative, I want you to represent black people across the United States. It's like Chinese people, like, suddenly they knock black people off the discrimination, at least in this study right here. Like, black people get knocked off and Chinese people get put on. And, like, how is that surprise? Like, what do you think most black people would say about that? Would most black people say, I know you don't know what most black people think, but just have fun.
I'm surprised.
Most people would be surprised?
Is it going to be like the black parents were responded to the most? Like, is that why the title is Black to Asian?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's not going to be that. But it's surprising, right? It's like, huh, all right. You don't think about Chinese. Like, we don't think about Asians and think discrimination.
No, like in my sociology class, we learned about the model minority myth. And like in the studies, like from texts I've read, it said that Asian parents, like principals and teachers, are more likely to respond to them than other races.
Yeah, I think back to like the Black Lives Matter protests. Yes, people were but especially black people, but people were marching in the street. People didn't stop and be like, whoa, hang on a second. We also got to bring Chinese into this as well, because they experience a lot of discrimination. Like, that's not happening. It just is. Like, Chinese, like, okay. Hispanic American families received the second fewest responses from school principals. Jasmine, the second fewest.
Yeah, and now I'm starting to think too, this could be based off of just stereotyping by language, maybe, because they're probably, even though the letters were all in the same language, their probably immediate jump is to who can I converse with the most easily versus something like that. And if you think like Hispanic speak Spanish or Chinese speak Mandarin, so it's not going to be. Their assumption is I can't really converse with them as well.
Well, they might, but remember, what they know is the letter is written in perfect English. It's the same letter, whether it's from the white family or any of the other families. It's the same letter. So you might think, well, I don't know if there might be something in your mind, but then that would be just absolute stereotyping, race. I don't even know what I would call that. That would be just stupidity. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I don't know if I can relate to these Chinese people because I don't know if they'll speaking. You know what I mean? They're demonstrating that they're perfect. The Hispanic families as well. Principles of different genders and race and ethnic backgrounds discriminated equally. Didn't matter. Is there any sense at all that, but the Koreans are going to be less likely to discriminate because they're minority in the United States?
Now, one thing confuses me about this statement. If you're analyzing principles of many different ethnicities, how are you measuring discrimination? Would it only be considered discrimination if the emails were from a student that was of a different ethnicity? Or is it saying that no matter the ethnicity of the principal, the results of the overarching study remained consistent?
Is that a conversation that you hear at all, or is that just like the discrimination is only coming from white people? It's not coming from black people, Hispanic people, Korean, Asian people?
Not really for the most part. I think it's pretty widespread or level.
It's
That's
pretty
the word I
even.
wanna say.
People across the board are equally as likely to discriminate.
Yeah.
This guy understands that there are dads in every ethnicity that doesn't want their daughter dating outside their race. The older generation was just more tribal and outwardly so.
Summer, as a white person, how often do you imagine that when you think about people of color discriminating, in your mind, do you think, well, but people of color, black people, Hispanic, Asian people, they discriminate pretty much as white people do? Is that a common thought in your mind?
I feel like I don't really think about this stuff a lot. I'm just every person's a person.
Can you imagine it though?
But also, I was thinking that because this was all done in the States, right?
What's that?
This was all like done in the States.
Yeah, States.
So I'm not totally sure if this goes in for like other countries, but in America, like the stereotypes and the culture that we have that like stereotype races, I feel like everybody learns, even if it's not a conscious thing. Even if like just like that's going to have an effect on everybody, even if it's not directed at everybody.
Yeah, everyone learns it. Black families only face some discrimination. So for black families, it was the same as white families. Black families received some fewer responses than white families, but only in the school districts that had really high resource needs, meaning that the school districts were really poor. And then we saw a little bit of discrimination against black families, but so we've had this civil rights, talking about discrimination and racism and prejudice, and we've been working on eradicating all of that in the black community for decades and decades, okay? Well, according to this research, we've gotten somewhere. It's like, how is that? Like, you're like treated equal to white people. Like you win, man. Like you won. Black people, like you got it. Here you go. Dang.
I think that's good, but I feel like there shouldn't be discrimination at all. Like everyone should get their emails replied to.
It's still not acceptable because of the Chinese family, Hispanic families, and so on. But seriously, I'm having kind of fun here a little bit, but seriously, this is really big to say. This isn't to say racism against black people doesn't exist, because it absolutely does. And in fact, when we do the job studies, we always see discrimination against black people, man. We continue to. We just didn't see it here. So,
I love watching Sam have fun here. Given the history of our country, this is a huge leap from where we were for black Americans. A lot of people may have assumed that black students would be the least likely to get a response due to the archaic stereotypes that have been around for 40 or 50 years, and the prejudice that still exists. Asian Americans have always been designated as the quote-unquote model minority, and they receive the fewest responses.
Can I say something about what you said before? you were talking about like, do Black, Hispanic, and Asian people like discriminate because people only think that white people discriminate? I mean, I see like minorities discriminate all the time. Like my parents, like they're from the Caribbean, but like they're Black, but they still like say bad things about like African Americans, or like I have like Hispanic friends it's mostly like the older generations, like their parents will say stuff about
Don't throw your parents under the bus. But it's not just your parents. Listen, no, it just is. The older generations, yeah, everybody has that in them. Yeah. We already threw them under the bus, so that's all right. Doesn't matter. All old people discriminate, except me, by the way.
Yep, I've grown up hearing certain members of my family say racist things. I've had quite a few arguments over the years due to me disagreeing with the sentiments. She's heard it too. From her parents, maybe the parents of her friends as well. The older generation was more divided, and they just say whatever the hell they want, because they can't be told otherwise. Back in the day, I used to work as a field technician, setting up internet in people's homes. I had a job one day for an older Hispanic family. I was running cables through their dining room and behind their in-home bar. They had a sign up that said, "White people to the back of the line." Now, they probably assumed that I didn't know Spanish, but it definitely rubbed me the wrong way. Ultimately, I didn't give a shit, and just remembered that they are older and set in their ways. They didn't discriminate against me directly and seemed nice enough. That tribalism is something that we, as a species, are working on eradicating. That'll go ahead and wrap up our little doc talk. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. Make sure to watch some of Sam's other sociology lectures, as they cover a lot of interesting topics. As always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. What are your thoughts? Leave them down in the comments below. Just remember to be civil with each other.
Fuck that. I want to see war in the chat. No wrong answers.